These are the stories
My little girl, she's changing lives just by being herself.
of organizations and people making a difference.
When you first tell someone about adaptive wheelchair boxing, it doesn't sound real.
And empowering others
It saved my life. It saved my life.
across Canada
I scored my first goal in my first blind hockey game.
in our community.
My accident happened 4 days before my 20th birthday in Kamloops. Some friends and I decided to go to the beach and play some volleyball. My friend came up onto the dock, and so we kind of jostled a little bit, and I tossed him into the water and then ran down the dock a little bit and dove into the water. Unfortunately, it was too shallow and hit my head on the bottom, and realized right away that something bad happened. I couldn't move any of my body other than my head. So I was starfish floating in the water, just saying to myself, hopefully somebody will come and flip me over. My friend came and flipped me over and brought me into shore, where they wanted to lift me out of the water, but I didn't really want anybody moving me out of the water. The girl that was there knelt down and just held my head in her lap while we waited for the ambulance to arrive. They took some time to get there, so a news reporter got there first and was able to take my picture in the river, and then the ambulance came and loaded me up and took me to the hospital in Kamloops. My name's Robert Raven. I'm 42. I'm a C5 quadriplegic. I think being 19 years old, I was at the time 4 days before my 20th birthday. It was kind of a good and a bad thing, because I was young enough to adapt, and I think I got over the being disabled part. You kind of have one plan going forward, and then all of a sudden you're going down a different path of an unknown ending. So that was probably the hardest part to get over. Before my accident, my life was very active with sports, friends, school, pretty much everything revolving around outside activities, and sports really took up a lot of my time. My disability pretty much makes me reliable on somebody to get me washed, dressed, transferred into my chair, all of my cooking and household stuff. Pretty much what I can do for myself is I can feed myself, and I can do some light cleaning, and then I have an assistance dog named Cisco. Open the door. Bad boy, out. Good boy. He can open and close doors. He can push the automatic door buttons to get in and out of stores, flipping on and off light switches, and pretty much retrieve me anything that he can get into his mouth. Hold. Bring it here. Good boy, give. Good boy. Good boy. As a quadriplegic, I think having some sense of independence is very important. I was independent before my accident, so to remain as independent afterwards as possible. Because once you start, getting dependent on things, it's hard to be comfortable, to be independent again, so.
And that's where People in Motion comes in to help. Headed by its executive director, Louise Abbott, out of their humble offices in a downtown Kelowna building.
We provide a lot of different programs, but our heart and soul is definitely with all of our recreational adaptive equipment and recreational programs. People in Motion works with people with disabilities or persons who need adaptive supports. People in Motion started approximately 33 years ago after the Rick Hansen Man in Motion tour took place.
From March 1985 to May 1987, Rick and his team wheeled over 40,000 kilometers through 34 countries, raising awareness about the potential of people with disabilities.
People in Motion in Kelowna has been one of the few organizations that are still around. So there's one in Toronto, one in Kamloops, and one in Kelowna, and we're still here 33 years later. The adaptive recreational equipment we have right now, there's about 30 to 40 pieces altogether. And of course we have our sit skis, and the sit skis are meant for adaptive skiing.
Well, I started disabled skiing a few seasons ago. I skied a lot as a youth and missed that feeling of being out on the mountain again. I was nervous to do it for a long time. I thought about it, hesitated, and then finally a few years ago decided that can't wait anymore and started and haven't looked back.
Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Today, Rob and his caregiver are heading to the mountains.
The day of skiing begins at my house pretty much. I get all my ski gear on, and then we pack up the van with our gear and off to the ski hall. And when we get there, I get my helmet and my gloves and goggles and the other stuff on, and then I get put onto the ski and off we go.
We've been skiing with Bob for a couple of years now. I think he really enjoys getting out on the mountain and feeling that freedom of carving down the hill with us. And he comes out regularly with a big smile on his face, ready to go. I'm Gail Williamson. I'm the director of Powderhound's Adaptive Snow Sports. It's a program of people in motion. We take out anyone with physical, cognitive, or sensory challenges out on the hill and give them the opportunity to have a ski out on the mountain. All right, we're good to go.
The equipment I use for adaptive skiing has a plastic seat that's folded kind of like a car seat, and then underneath has two skis mounted with suspension, and then on the back has a handle and a tether cord that gets attached to a skier behind you, and then they take you and steer you down the course almost like a stroller. I can dictate where I want to go and tell the driver where to go and how I kind of want to go, whether if I want to go fast or slow or down steeper runs or bumpier runs. So I don't do any of the steering with my body, but just with my voice. When I used to ski, I used to like the hardest runs. And now I like the easiest runs because you can go the fastest. Being able to be out on the mountain again and feel the air, it definitely makes you feel, makes you forget that you're in a wheelchair for a while.
I think the important thing is everyone having the opportunity to be out here, enjoying an environment up in the mountains, on any conditions, whether it's snowing or sunny, and just feeling freedom, wind in your face. It's something we all can take for granted sometimes, and that sense of freedom is a wonderful experience in the middle of, winter when you might not think you can get outside.
To be skiing again is feeling free. Yeah, a sense of freedom for sure, yeah.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
I grew up on a beef and dairy cattle and blueberry and cranberry farm in Pitt Meadows. I really enjoyed it. It was a really wholesome upbringing because I started working on the beef and dairy cattle farm when I was 6 years old. But it was nerve-wracking to work with the bigger cows for sure, especially with the fact that I have my balance issue, my coordination issue, so I had to be careful around them for sure. My name is Leanna Robinson. I'm 41 years old and I have spina bifida, which is essentially where within the womb the fetus doesn't grow the full spine. So I with my degree of the spina bifida condition, I have a piece of vertebrae missing, and so within that it affects my lower body. I have weakness and coordination and balance issues, so I have a little bit of a limp and difficulty being able to get around. I have a mobility issue. When I was a kid, I really enjoyed biking. It was one of the physical activities that I could do pretty easily on the farm. We had quite a bit of acreage, and so a long, large driveway as well as quite a long road that I could go biking along. And at the end of our road was the Pitt River with the beautiful dike system in Pitt Meadows. And so I would go down there and bike around with friends and my cousins and my sister. So that was a lot of fun. Just because of the degree of my condition is pretty slight, so within that I can do all of my activities of daily living that I need to be able to do for myself. Really the only things I can't do anymore are rollerblading, skating, and currently I'm needing to use a three-wheeled bike as opposed to a bicycle, which I used to be able to use.
With a little bit of help from her husband, Mike, Leanna is off on her adapted bike.
The trike that I have rented from People in Motion, it's a fantastic, very stable bike that has two wheels in the back with a lovely large basket and one wheel in the front. It has a very large seat, which makes it all that much more comfortable. Bye. Thank you. Yeah. It's a very stable bike that makes me feel more confident and like I have a lot more control and that I can balance a lot more easily on the bike. There's 4 parks right around here, so I can get to those parks a lot easier than if I was walking. I feel completely free when I'm biking, like it's nothing else. Being independent is extremely important to me, and so within that, I want to keep that independence for as long as possible. And being 41, you know, as we all age, muscle mass depletes. So within that, I want to make sure that I stay as active as possible, and that I can exercise on a regular basis. And using the trike is really fantastic and helpful for that. So. Some people may feel like they're not comfortable riding a bike or like they can't anymore, because I felt the same way at the beginning of this summer. And, excuse me. So within that, I'm really glad that I found People in Motion and that they had this trike that I could use. And so yeah, essentially I would just tell people to just try it, to just get out and about and have that supportive family member or friend, and just try it. Just get out there and try it.
One of our services is our transportation program, which consists of our accessible bus and then our accessible van. That was the first program that People in Motion started out with. The cool thing about our bus is that it has 2 dedicated spots for wheelchairs, and it's got a lift, and then it also has 12 seats so that we can take along their friends and family. With the bus we do sometimes charter tours, or sometimes we can do wine tours. Accessible transportation program is something that we've done for about 33 years. We have the bus and we have a van loans program where we just loan out our van, and then whoever would like to, usually it's a caregiver or a parent can take that individual who needs accessible transportation and take them touring around and doing either doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, or even just touring around wherever they want to go in the Okanagan. So it gives them a lot of freedom and independence. Some of the other things that we do and have program around is our wheelchair basketball and power soccer leagues. And so those two leagues are very busy. We do weekly practices, and oftentimes our players go to provincial and national tournaments, as well as our power soccer players. Some of them have gone to the Worlds about 5 years ago in Paris. We have about 260 members right now, and our membership can be anywhere from people who are like 95 years old to 3 years old. We have people who have spinal cord injuries and cerebral palsy, autism on the spectrum. So we do specialized programs, especially for our ski program for children on the spectrum, as well as developmentally delayed. So we have a variety of different specialized programs just to accommodate what their needs are. Our staff is myself, and then I have a summer student that comes in usually about 4 months of the year. We also have a director with our adaptive snow sports program up at Big White, and then we also have about 79 volunteers. All of our volunteers go through a lot of training to make sure that they understand what it takes to work with people with disabilities, as well as specialize in some of the recreational sports that we get involved with or we provide. There isn't really a qualification to be a member, so you can be a member as a parent, a caregiver, a person who's participating in some of our programs. It only costs $10, so we're happy to see people come on board as long as you want to get involved and like what we do. We're happy to have you as a member.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
I like riding. I like running. I'm also a triathlete. My name is Sadie, and I am 9 years old. My picture bike I use for running. It's like a tricycle, but without pedals. It has the same seat as a regular bike, and you use it for running. I can go as fast as I want on it. Or as fast as I can run, at least.
Go, Sadie, go, go, go! All the way through! You can do it, high knees! Go, 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 go!
My name's Liza Burgess. I'm Sadie's mom. Sadie has cerebral palsy called spastic diplegia. My husband and I have been married for 20 years. We have 4 kids. So our oldest son is 16. We have a 14-year-old daughter, 12-year-old son, and then Sadie's 9. Sports have always been like a huge part of my life. It's something that I love doing, and I always wanted to be able to do that with my kids. Unfortunately, when Sadie was born, we knew that it was going to be a little bit more challenging to do some of the things that we always wanted to do. I always wanted to take my kids backpacking, backcountry backpacking and hiking and things like that. And it just presented a bit more of a challenge when Sadie was born. And so I had always kind of told myself, we're always going to find a way for her to be included. If she wants to do something, then we're going to figure out a way. She does like the outdoors. Sadie's always telling me, she's like, it's so beautiful out here. She's very articulate with how she talks about nature and the beauty of nature and whatnot. So she does really enjoy being outside and hiking and camping and all sorts of things. When we used to go hiking with Sadie, we didn't have any other way to help her up the mountain than to carry her. And obviously carrying her in front is too difficult. So we would tie her to our back with bed sheets. I'd take 2 bed sheets and tie them together, and then I'd put it around Sadie's legs and around my trunk, and then up around her trunk and tie it in front. So we would be strapped together, which was nice because she just became part of my body, but it added an extra 40 pounds. Now with Sadie being over 60 pounds, it's become inhibitive for us to be able to even carry her that way. Even for my husband, it's become too much.
My name's Brendan Burgess. I'm Sadie's dad, and we've got an active family. We've got a family of 6, and we love to be outside and enjoy the beautiful outdoors where we live. We like to go hiking and biking and swimming, and we love to include Sadie with just about everything that we do.
So I contacted the lady at People in Motions, and she graciously let us take a few of the pieces of equipment home to use for as long as we needed them.
Petra Bike is not the only equipment Sadie uses. When the family is in the woods, they need the Trail Rider.
The Trail Rider is similar to a wheelbarrow that has long extensions out the back that you can push and hold on to, and long extensions out the front, so someone can walk in the front and lift the wheel up if you're going over roots or rocks, while the person behind can also lift or push.
When we get to something that I can't push it over, we'll have to bring it up, and then we just all at once lift it up and over we go and carry on. It's not really a big deal.
It's fun for me because I can just sit there and chill out.
So she gets to sit on a nice cushy seat in the center of what would be the wheelbarrow part, which we kind of call her throne as the queen. My biggest wish for Sadie is for her to have as much independence as she can and to have a full life. I've realized that happiness doesn't necessarily mean being able to walk. Maybe her goal is just to be able to participate and to be able to do all of the fun things that we get to do. So being able to provide opportunities for her and for her to be involved and for her to find joy in all the things that we find joy in, and for her to find her own way of being happy. People in Motion offer so much to the community by having pieces of equipment that families can't necessarily afford to buy on their own. So for us, it's allowed Sadie to access equipment that we otherwise wouldn't be able to have. And that's huge for families with all the equipment that these children already need, to be able to have things that we can borrow and loan that allow us to get outside and do the things that we love. And for Sadie, that's been a game changer.
We've really appreciated the People in Motion loaning us this equipment. It's taken away some of those decisions we've had to make about, do we bring Sadie with us? Do we not? We've been able to do more things as family together, and that's been really special for us.
Our family loves being together. We love hiking, and so to be able to do it all together is a great opportunity that People in Motion's given us.
Produced by Ascent Films, Inc. Producer Location Audio, Lucy Bacala. Director Cinematographer Editor, Yuri Bacala. Narrator, Jim Van Horn. Original music, Stu Goldberg. Colorist, Steve Anturi. Photography courtesy of People in Motion. Archive video courtesy of Rick Hansen Foundation. Reenactment actors, Peter Louis Chouinard, Mackenzie Gordon. Special thanks the City of Kelowna, Donna Simpson, Mike Allen Newman, Karen Wright, Keaton and Brea Burgess, The View Winery and Vineyard, Big White Ski Resort, Powder Hound staff and volunteers. Integrated Describe Video Specialist M. Williams. Graphics Andrew Antonello. Content Development Specialist Sylvie Fiquette. Coordinating Producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production Kara Nye. Director Programming Brian Perdue. VP Content Development and Programming John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2021 Accessible Media Inc.